Hey, how you doing? I hope this message finds you well. Come on in, chill out for a bit. We're gonna tap into the collective energy, do a little portal report. We're gonna work with the ARACANE BS deck. I also have my glow in the dark Cartomancy deck here too, so we'll pull that out to get clarification on the general messages that come through. And let's just dive right into it and see what wants to come to the forefront for us. Let's see what energy is in play right now. There's a lot of interesting stuff hanging out in the atmosphere, I would say. It's a very different flow coming in here. I don't know if you all are picking that up. I'm sure you are. But it does feel like there's something that's brewing. That's the sense that I got. There's something that's brewing. You may feel like there's something brewing within someone. Something that maybe they're concealing. You feel like they're putting on sort of like a peaceful front here. But there's something kind of inflammatory brewing inside. This could be somebody who is used to having a lot of attention. This could be somebody that you've known since your childhood. This is somebody who is a bit of a wizard, I have to say. They do have arcane knowledge, but they might not present that outwardly. They might not present that outwardly. It might be an aspect they don't really show the world. It's something that they keep to themselves. There's a lot of people out there like that you would never guess that they are alchemists, that they work the path. They have their 9-to-5 day jobs. They put on their suit and tie. They live a very buttoned up lifestyle, you could say, on the surface, and then behind the scenes, there's like this whole other character there. More multi-dimensional, I have to say. And maybe this person's been repressing this. They've been repressing this. There's like something that's brewing inside of them. It feels inflammatory though, so that gives me the vibe of holding in their fire for too long. They may have been trying to tamp down their fire. They may have been trying to play it cool, when really they need to play it hot. Interesting. They might need to turn up the heat a little bit in order to get the tempering action going on that they're needing. Could be a fire sign connected to this. It's possible. Fire energy at the forefront. This seems to really be coming in with this full moon. There's like a need to move things into action. It's well beyond the state of just being able to hang out in the chrysalis stage of development. Like there is a need to get through the other side of that sort of contained space. And there is something about this, like more of an ecstatic flow, more of a free flow, more formless, and kind of being comfortable in that state of mutability where something hasn't really taken on a distinct form yet. And this certainly could be like yourself, just where you're at right now. All the changes you're going through and all the changes going on in the world, and not really sure how it's all going to kind of gel here. So I feel like you are dealing with a character like this though. There's somebody that they may appear to live a very mundane life, but this is somebody that is quite a wizard, I hear. They hold arcane knowledge, but it's not something they share with most people. There's a little bit of kind of a hoarding energy with it. I think it's because it's a part of this person that has always been very awake and aware within them, even when they were a child. I'm picking up the energy of a child sort of doing like a retrospect here. I feel like I'm getting a view of the lens of the past of this person, the roots of who they are. When they were a child, they liked to spend a lot of time alone. They like to study. Even as a kid, they liked to study. They had an innate curiosity about everything. They weren't really enamored with things that most children are. They had far more curiosity. And it was a curiosity for knowledge, for wisdom. They just kind of came into this life like that. Very old soul, even from a very young age. And maybe even was seen this way by the adults. Was seen this way by the adults. Like just a little too smart for their britches. Like a little too wise. Able to see too much. Not really able to keep the real stuff of life from this character. I feel like, though there could be this sense of wanting to put on a front within family dynamics, this child could always see through that. This child always had sight. I feel like this is somebody who always had sight. They always had clairs. They were very sensitive. People would call it sensitive. They may have been in gifted programs in school. They may have been misunderstood. They may have acted out in class as well at times. More so because they weren't stimulated. They were bored and it was frustrating. It felt like too much containment of the energy. But they learned. It's like they learned how to play the role. They learned how to fit in. And they didn't want to sacrifice this wisdom that they came into this life with. They didn't want to sacrifice their gifts. And so they tucked them away deep inside for safekeeping. And it's not really something they ever showed to anybody. But I feel like somebody is wanting to take the risk here. They want to unmask themselves. Maybe to somebody that they see a similarity in, like maybe a certain kind of kindred spark with this individual. They feel like maybe you understand, maybe you get it. Maybe you get it. Let's see what this is about. I do feel like whoever this person is, when they were a child, they had a lot of attention. And they learned really early on that the more that they could keep the adults in their life happy, the more favor they would find. And so they'd be kind of like that apple of the eye in terms of how they were seen within the family dynamic. Some would even say at times they could have been considered the favorite. They had favor in some way. But a lot of it had to do with the fact that they compromised their true essence, sort of squished it down so it would fit within the borders of what the adults in their life were comfortable with. And I feel like this is a part of them they never lost. They had to conceal it. They had to conceal it. And they may have let a little bit of it seep out, but I feel like for the most part, like the real heart of who they are was always sort of tucked away for safekeeping. Oh yeah. They're into that weird ass mystical shit, man. And I think it's kind of getting to the point where there's more vision awakening in this individual. There's more wisdom that's sort of bubbling up. I mean, when you suppress something, it can only be suppressed for so long. And I feel like that's what's happening here. Somebody tried to really suppress a certain part of themselves in order to fit into society, in order to fit in with their social group, in order to fit in within the family. And they may have even come from a family that, you know, they had their oddities. But still, this one was not like the others. That's what I got. Probably had siblings or blended family. That's possible too. This person's having a lot of that old knowledge resurface within them. What they tried to suppress is really like it's coming up to the surface. And it's starting to be difficult for them to contain, because they're having all of these awakenings. They're having visions, and they're getting a lot of guidance that's coming in with this. Guidance that's telling them, they need to go here, they need to do this, they need to talk to this person, they need to take this action. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like, this is not something that makes any sense. And so it's a little difficult to convey to others because one's been wearing like this disguise for so long that for them to suddenly do something that to the outsider looks completely out of character can bring up the concern that, oh, they're really going to think like I'm off my rocker, like I've lost it here, I've lost my marbles, and they're just rolling across the floor. But that's not the case at all. It's that it's actually something healthy. It's something that has been too contained and is creating this really like pressurized internal environment. And it's time. This is the time. It's something that is very much part of the trajectory for moving forward here. It's very much about what wants to unfurl within the self. It's something that is ready to be actualized and to actually be the compass for what guides one forward. This guidance they're getting quintessentially from getting their avatar on board is what's happening here. So I feel like somebody's sort of sitting in this space right now, wondering if they should reveal their true identity to someone. That's how it's coming through. I feel like they found some kind of commonality here. Somebody they feel might understand, or they recognize a similarity in this person. And they feel like maybe I can let down my guard. Maybe I can show this person who I am. And maybe then I might be able to actually step into this. Like, there's a need to have some kind of support, I feel. Because it's a real different flow. But this person wants the bloom. They do. It's become really painful for them to keep this part of themselves held back. They want to step into it. And actually, this person wants to expand into it. I feel this really strongly. And I keep saying this person. So I don't know if this is somebody that is wanting to connect with you, collective. It could be. It could be somebody who wants to connect with you because they feel like maybe you won't judge them. Maybe you will be able to hold the kind of space that just lets them show up as they are. They feel like they can let down their guard with you, show you a part of themselves that others might sort of, brush off or dismiss, maybe even cast aside, maybe really exile in some ways if it's that different from sort of the image that they've been presenting throughout their life, through adaptation, just how they were conditioned by their environment. This is a whole new flow for this person, but they feel like maybe I start with you. That's how it's coming through. Maybe I start with you. Because I know I've been hanging on to too much shit for way too long. And it's getting too hard for me to hold the true me back and hold all of what I'm feeling inside. And I do have visions coming in, and I am having experiences that are really urging me to start walking my path in a whole new way. And I kind of would like a traveling companion here. That's how it's coming through. Somebody wants some help clearing out all the old kind of energy. Somebody wants some help activating this self-knowledge, stepping into it, living from that place instead of dumbing themselves down. Instead of walking through their life pretending like I don't see, I'm not aware, I don't have these visions, I don't know why I'm here. Like, somebody is very clear. I feel that really strongly. They know who they are. They know why they're here. They even know why certain people are in their life and what role they play. In some cases, they even remember those people from previous incarnations. So they know the score. They know what's here to be settled. They know the dharma, the work to be done, all of it. Like, this is somebody who's very aware. And I got that part of the karmic balance in this life was at one point they sacrificed their crown. Like they sacrificed this knowledge in favor of keeping a status quo. In some cases, in saving their head. This could be somebody who in a previous incarnation, or maybe even in this life, was punished in some way when they actually lived and spoke from this awareness. Some could consider it dangerous. Some could consider it dangerous. And yet there's this interesting, like, sort of dualistic quality here where I also feel like there's been a lot of people that wanted a piece of that, you know? This path is opening for this individual, but they're really trying to get through that final hurdle of really just giving the finger to all these outside limitations that have been put on the expression of who they really are. This person is really having a lot of emotional release right now. They may be going through something that outwardly appears very chaotic. Inwardly, it's extremely cathartic, and it's part of the awakening process. The more this person releases, the more this person rises. It's like the more they feel like they're coming into their full stature. I don't know why, but I just got this real suppression energy around this person. Like, this person's meant to walk tall, but it's like they've been crawling on their hands and knees in order to not take up too much space, because it rouses a lot of difficulty for this individual if they really like stand up in their full stature, if they take up their proper space. That might incite jealousy, it might incite ridicule, it might incite ostracization. I just feel like this is somebody who really needs to experience being witnessed in who they really are, and find a receptivity to that would be very healing for this individual. And this individual could be you. It could be you. If this is really resonating with you and you feel like this part of you is a part of you that's kind of always been in the closet, I think you're ready to come out of the closet. You're ready to represent who you really are as a spiritual being. That's how it's coming through. And for certain gifts that you hold, certain empowerments that you hold, that maybe things that not everybody understands, not everybody gets. Maybe some people would think you're making it up or it's not even real, but you know very well it is, and that it has validity here. And there's somebody that makes this a safe space to step into this truth of who one is, okay? It could be you identifying somebody who can welcome this part of you. It could be somebody sees you as this sort of safe space, okay? It's got the vibe of like an initial revealing, like, you know, the great reveal. Okay, I'm not ready to let everybody know. I'm not ready to show everybody. I'm not ready to reveal this side of myself to everybody. But I am ready to show you. Okay. It could be an emotion that needs to bubble up in this person. This person's not comfortable showing their emotions, but they feel like they can be open with you. They can let down their guard with you. They feel like you can help them just like get all this off their chest. It also could have something to do with a very real way that they show up in the world too. a part of themselves that they have never revealed to anybody. I do have something around an artist here, somebody who's an artist, and they really feel like that's their calling, but maybe they have a very unique expression, and they felt it was kind of like lost in translation, like maybe nobody really recognized the gift that they held. And yet this art's something that's been kept a secret. This person maybe wants to share their art with you. I got some blockage coming in around this. I would say yes. I think this is one way this person expresses themselves. I also got somebody here, could be on the spectrum, and that's something that they've never fully stepped into, showed up as, you know. So a lot is sort of misunderstood because people don't really know who they are, okay? Yeah, I feel like it's something that's really weighed heavily on this person. Like, it's always with them, you know? It's always with them. It's almost like they got this burden that they're carrying around because they feel like, I feel like I come off like I'm fishy because I know that when I'm showing up, when I'm hanging out with people, as much as I enjoy the company, I also feel a lot of pressure. And there's times I just want to be alone because I feel like they can tell, like, I'm not one of them. Like, that's how it's coming through. They can tell it's fishy. They can tell I'm not one of them. Like, this person feels exposed. Like, even though they may be playing an act, they feel like people know, like, what's up? Something's off with you. And I think people misunderstand this individual because what they're not getting is this person is actually a very sensitive soul, holds a lot of wisdom, very gifted individual. I also feel wise. Like, this person's crown is lit. Like, this person has certain spiritual gifts, but they've never been empowered in stepping into them. And that could be because of their upbringing. It could be because of their religious programming. And so in some way, there was dissuading from this. Like, you can't do that. You cannot step into these gifts because there's something evil about these gifts, okay? I can see that. Like, there could be something in place here that's really made this person feel like they've had to put on an act. But them doing this has made them always feel like something is missing from their life. And I feel like what's been missing from their life is their sense of purpose. Because their purpose requires them to let all of this come up and out. It's why they are here. They are here to share their visionary awareness. This person's a visionary. This person is a visionary. And I feel like sometimes they may act up. This effing guy may sometimes act up, okay? There may be times when this guy pops off, you know? It's because if you're holding in your true expression and you're tamping it down and you feel like you can never just be who you are without any judgment, that creates just the recipe for an explosion of emotion, just a spontaneous outpouring of emotion. And since it's been held inside for so long, it can come off as aggressive or too forceful. Like the fire just all rushes forward. It's volcanic. It's like an eruption. And see, this person's getting to this point where they know that if they don't come up and out with this, they're not going to be able to live their life on their terms and to be able to experience the full expression of this creative energy that's just like it's mounting in them. It's mounting in them. And there's so much blockage around it. I feel it. Like, this person does not feel safe in speaking their truth, in being in their authentic expression. They may feel like it'll be their undoing. And so I feel like they dumb themselves down, because there's something about this. Like, I think that this person has certain spiritual gifts, and in some way these have been villainized. In some way these gifts have been demonized. And so this person's learned to suppress them and play like they are unaware. But ironically, I feel like what's happened, because that's been suppressed out of some sense of guilt or shame, that's what's taken these gifts into more of a shadowy territory. This person may start to realize that it's actually the suppression that's starting to distort their gifts. They're noticing that they're coming more from the dark side than working with the force in a more empowering way. They might be ready to actually transform this with the moth medicine here. They might be ready to go through the fire. They might be ready to really stand in their truth. But I feel like this person is in need of an ally. They need an ally because they're going to reach for this cosmic carrot. This is a golden opportunity for this individual to really step into their power, because once they step into their power, it completely transforms their life. They have that sense of freedom everybody longs for, to just be free, to live as you are. And I feel like there's also so many rewards that come in for this person by really stepping into their gifts. It blesses up their life in so many ways, because they don't recognize how much them showing up and living on purpose like that, how essential it is, and how much it's going to give to others too. Like, it's central to their purpose. But they know that there's a lot that's going to be like sacrifice. Like, there's a lot that has to be cut away here. There might be loss in tandem with this cost of living in one's truth. Give me some more details about this. What else does the collective need to know about this? If this is resonating with you, I would say you really should do a lot of work around the throat chakra. I'm feeling just constant blockage here. The throat chakra is not just about your expression. It's not just about those things that you speak into existence. It's also your purpose. It's being aligned with your purpose. So it's like almost this need to come up and out with the true expression of oneself to align with the purpose. So let's see what this is. Yeah. And we got the feral nerd. See, I feel like this person has this sort of like reputation. You know, they're a little different from everybody else. There's something about them that sets them apart. And it also could be this very quality, what makes them different, that also got them a lot of attention, especially when they were younger, I feel. Just a lot of attention. Very charismatic at the same time, very bright, very intelligent. This person's very smart. But they're into certain things that are a little bit wild and unruly and outside the box of the norm, okay? Whatever normal is here. And they want to go down that rabbit hole, you see? It's like, their feral nature is starting to gain too much of a stronghold where it's activating the pathfinder in them. They need to go down that rabbit hole. They need to explore these parts of them, but there's also fear there in tandem. There's fear around how they'll be received when they let this part of them be seen. And they do think that they're going to be screwed. They think they're going to be so effing effed here. They do. They think that they're going to feel the burn. I think there's something here. There's some kind of programming that's involved in this. There's something that's been repeatedly drilled into this person's head by their family. This could be their religious programming. This could be what they learned from those elders that they looked up to when they were younger. I do feel like it's something really foundational. It's also maybe confronting their own sort of omissions, like ways that they presented one story to people, and then maybe they're afraid that they're going to come off as disingenuous because all of a sudden they're doing this like complete like 180, and people are like, wait a minute, who are you? You've never been this before, right? So there's almost something like feeling like people are going to like throw stuff in their face. Like, well, wait a minute. What about when you said this? Or what about when you did that? You know, they don't understand. This person is really sat in the belly of the beast for a long time. This is something that's gnawed away at them. And they're well aware of the things they've said, the things they've done. They're well aware. They've gone over, you know, the record of their life. They've looked back at their past experiences. They've sorted through all that, and they get that it can be destabilizing. And I think that's the one thing that sort of like holds this person back. I mean, I do think they know they've misstepped at times. There were times that they stepped in some shit, you know. But they're ready to abandon those shoes now. You know, they're ready to embrace a more free kind of path. One more round here, cut of the deck, and then I'm going to get some clarification. So I don't know if this is somebody that is coming in to seek some kind of support, maybe even just for you to hold space. It might not be that you need to do anything. You know, if you have somebody coming towards you in this manner, and they just want you to listen or witness them in something they have to share with you, I encourage you just to give them the floor, right? Just create a space where you just listen. Hear this person out, because I don't think it's easy for this person to come towards you. And if this is you, I think this is a big step in you really embracing the power of who you are. Oh, see, they're really feeling like you're not going to want this person to approach you. This person has a lot of judgments about themselves. They're going to be very, they're going to be very cautious about how they approach this. I almost feel like this person thinks that they need to like clean up their act a little bit before they come towards you. They may feel like you can see too. Like you may see things about this person. Okay. Because that piece came in. Like they know that they've misstepped before. They're well aware. They've looked at the record book of their life. They're like, yeah, I remember when I did that back there. I think they recognize it's sort of like attracts like here. Also, they know that you see too, all right? That you can see through them. So it's sort of like, I feel this person is wanting to approach, but they feel first they need to kind of like, they need to clean up their act. That's how it's coming through. Or else they feel like you won't even be receptive to receive this communication from them. they may feel like you're like this with them. And that you're in this sort of like, you know, king shit mode. That you're in this space where you're very stubborn. They may feel like you see, yes, but you've only seen what I've allowed you to see. Okay? We have to remember, like, this person is gifted. Like, this person has spiritual gifts. So it's very well that they could have had so much of themselves concealed. You know, they know how to cloak their energy. And I think that they recognize, collective, that you can see through them. Or if this is you, you know that somebody can see into you. Maybe this person can see into you on a level deeper than anybody has been able to before. Or you're able to see into this person. There's a little bit of a mirroring energy here. And so I do feel like this has been coming in a lot. I do feel like it's a two-way street, all right? And maybe there's been a bit of a slow revealing process here. I don't know why I got this, but it gives me the vibes of like, I'm just feeling these sort of like burlesque vibes. So it's giving me the vibe of almost like a real slow reveal, right? And milking it. And there's something about this, only it's not revealing the physical body. It's more like revealing the energetic body, like revealing these gifts that one has, revealing one's true soul's essence. There is almost this kind of quality to it. Like there is something that's a little bit seducing, right, about it. This person, whoever this person is, okay, that's doing some work to clean up their act, right? So they can enter into this revealing moment with you. They know that you have the ability to see into them on a level that others have not been able to. But they're also able to see into you. And they know that you also got your BS. You also got your own BS to clear. I think another reason why this person has been holding back is they can sense like some antagonistic energy within you. A little standoffish and a little bit rigid here. Like there's like a certain point that you're not willing to budge on. It's some stance you have. It's some stance you have. And it's interesting because look at how their energy came in too. I mean, you both have this stance. You both have this stance. So as much as there's like this mutual understanding here, like I see into you more than you realize I do. And that provokes a little fear because I know it works both ways. So this makes really coming into this place of completely revealing the truth of who I am a little bit sketchy, okay? Because I've never sort of given another the ability to witness this revealing of me before. And I think this is like sort of this mutual energy. I do think these are people that have had problems in the past. There may have been misunderstandings between you and this individual in the past where you didn't accurately see each other, or because it was getting too close, like, oh no, this person sees me. It's like, it's sort of like the facade falls away with this individual, and that feels extremely exposing. And this puts up the guards. It's been the one thing that's been kind of like creating the disconnect. And I feel like somebody's recognizing here, like the only way to transform this and also to get myself right. So I feel like I am living my life on purpose and not just kind of willy-nilly at the whims of fate. I need to have the courage, you know, to sort of step into this. And when I say clean up my act, I don't mean like on a superficial level. It's more like clean up the act, like drop the act and show up in a way that's very natural and unguarded, and just allow it to just be what it is. Somebody has a real difficult time doing that because they feel like it'll be rejected. And yet they feel the impulse to face the fear. Oh, they should, man. Look at that. It'll be the dawning of a new reality. Look at it. You're viewing it as the gravy funnel. Someone here is viewing it as the gravy funnel, not the gross cut. Yeah, I think you both kind of live in the ether, both of you. You have this vision. You know, you're able to see things from a different kind of perspective. And it's a mutually satisfying, that's what's coming through, a mutually satisfying connection between the two of you. Something about it brings the dawning of a new era in one's life. That's how it's coming through. I feel like the only thing that's really getting in the way here is these defenses. Like, it's this stubbornness. You know what it is? It's like, well, who's gonna let down their guard first? Who is going to be brave enough to let down the guard first? This also might be like a little bit playful too, like, F you. F you. I know you see who I really am. F you, jerk. You know? You know, but it's got those vibes. Like, there's a sweetness there. There's a sweetness there. As I say that, it's like the throat. The throat is like, it's softening, okay? Softening, yeah. But it does really require that one gets out of their head in order to step into this. Right now, this is where it's at. Everybody is kind of like bound up in this situation, bound up by old BS ideas, you know, perspectives that are really preventing the full expression of what could happen here. Okay, that's what I see just coming in as an initial energy. But I also see that there is the ability to have the strength to overcome that. All right, there is the ability to have the strength to overcome that. And it may be this effing guy, this feral nerd here, that's actually going to be the one that's going to step into that position first, possibly. Because I do see them holding that big stick. So they do have a very big, bold action they're considering here. They know there's something that they do need to release. They need to let some old BS go in order to transform the current situation. There's no way to get any kind of traction with this if one is still acting out of like these old roles they've been playing here. This is somebody who's ready to show up as they are. That's what I feel. They're getting ready for this. They're getting ready for this. Yeah, they're getting ready for this. They're getting balanced out. Okay, I think they are choosing their heart here with the Ace of Hearts. This is some kind of good news coming in. It is a Wheel of Fortune sort of energy, so I do feel like there's movement here. I also feel like not only is there movement here, there is a new beginning. Like I said, I don't think that this is going to be considered a gross cup. I think whoever is being approached here is really going to recognize the opportunity. They're going to see it as something that is mutually enriching. Like, this is a growth opportunity. That's what I feel. And it is something that brings balance. It does bring some sense of justice, some kind of equilibrium here that's been missing. I think something is needed to be balanced out here in this connection for a while is how it's kind of coming through. Let me get some more details here. Give me some more details about this for the collective. What's being balanced out here with this meeting of the minds? It feels like it's a meeting of the minds that lands in the heart. But first, it's sort of like what's polluted a situation needs to be cleared out. There may need to be a big, like, clearing out. This individual may be trying to do all this, like, clearing out work on their own, when actually it's something that would be more beneficial if it was like a tag team effort. Because I do feel like there's like some kind of mutuality here. Both people have stuff to clear out. Give me more details about this, Spirit. Give me more details about this. What needs to be cleared out here between these two? Comes out with the Ace of Clubs. So yeah, there's something about the balance of power. There may have been a lot of challenges in this connection. A lot is needing to be healed around the balance of power in order to stabilize this connection. So there could have been times in the past where, you know, somebody was too domineering in the situation, and another felt like they were never able to really stand in their power. Like, it's got the vibes almost of like somebody feels like, I have to rule the roost, you know? I have to rule the roost. This could be a cocky person. You both could be kind of cocky people. You could both be kind of like cocky, confident, sort of showy sort of people in some way. You know, you both could appreciate having attention, you know, but it's almost like needing to, oh, interesting message. It's sort of like needing to share the spotlight in some way. Somebody in this connection feels like they're always backstage in this connection. Like, you may have both felt like this at times. There could be like sort of a role reversal in this connection too, where somebody used to be, maybe when they were younger, they were the one that got all the attention, and now the tables are sort of turned and it's flipped up the dynamic of your connection too. And now this person doesn't really know how to bridge that gap with you, and yet they feel like they want to bridge this gap with you because you see them on a level that nobody's ever seen them before. Or they see you on a level. I think, like I said, it's mutuality here. I think it's a shared experience. And, you know, this doesn't have to be romantic at all. I feel like this could be a friend. This could be somebody that is like a colleague in some way. But it's somebody you hold in high regard, or you have at one point in time held this person in high regard. But there was always this sort of push-pull dynamic. Somebody needs to have the attention, and something's been switched up here. I feel like whoever used to take more of the backstage role in this connection has been flipped up a little bit. And that's difficult for the other person to adjust to when they don't understand that they have their own sort of, they have their own lane. Like, they shine in their own right. There's no reason why both can't be in their purpose in this connection. And see, this comes out as like sort of the blocking energy. This is what's not seen. It's what's creating the crossroads, this misunderstanding that it has to be either or. There's a way that both can be in their power, and both can be who they are, and there can be and a complete acceptance of this. But I feel like there's like these little sort of subtle, unspoken clauses in the agreement of this soul connection where it's like, okay, it's okay for you to be who you are as long as you sort of like just compromise this part of yourself like this because it makes me feel like that. And that won't work. That won't work. Both individuals in this connection, no matter the context of this relationship, whether it's a relationship you have with a former lover or a dear friend or a colleague, you know, that you hold in high esteem, somebody that, it could even be with like somebody that was a mentor at one point, and maybe they see you stepping ahead in your own right, and they feel that there's things that they're learning from you, and yet that makes them feel a little bit like, oh, well, who am I? You know what I mean? It can be a situation where it becomes a bit of an identity crisis. But that's sort of the problem, is there's like too strong of identification here without recognizing the way that it can actually be a very harmonious connection if the same freedom that one desires is granted to the other as well. And it's that freedom to just be who they are without judgment, without enforcing limitations, restrictions on how this person's allowed to show up in the relationship, in the position that they hold, you know, within the social circle, within the job, within the community, within the story that you share with each other. I like it though. I like it though, because I do feel like there is a way through to the other side of this. There is. There is a way to stabilize something here. There is a way through, back to a more heart-centered perspective. There is something that can be built on here. There is a way to work through this energy. You're both coming out as having real strong fire in your chart. And I feel like this is the thing that has been really held in from an elemental perspective. It's the fire. And when I think of the fire, I think of that transformational quality, but I also think about the parts of ourselves that they cannot be contained. They're meant to like light up the landscape of our life. And they're the things that make us burn with passion and with purpose. And you can't suppress that. It needs to find full expression, because that's what each of us are here to do. You're both very independent individuals here. Both of you are. Both of you are. You both hold power. And both of you are in this position where you're like, I ain't about to give up my power. F you. Right? This is what it is. There's not an understanding that, well, we both wear the crown. We both wear the crown. So where's the problem? Where's the problem? It doesn't need to be either or. And so this is what's kind of coming to a crescendo at this time. It's like there's the old views that each of these individuals, you and the other, has always held. And now there's like this new path of heart. Look at that heart there. There's this new path of heart that's coming into view. So you feel like you're colliding with each other when there's this initial meetup. It feels very messy, right? It feels like an infinite cosmic mess. But it's one of those things where there has to be an exploration of the path, because it's what is calling you forward here. I do feel like there's a little bit of outside interference in this situation that's causing some problems, and it's preventing somebody from really opening up the door of opportunity here. They think of doing it and then they freak out and they pull their energy back. But I feel like this has more to do with people that are connected with this individual, that are trying to encourage them to continue to hang on to the old way they've been operating that doesn't work for them anymore. And each of these characters that are trying to influence this individual have their reasons why they want this person to stay as they are, as they've always known them. That's the thing, that's not who this person is. That's who they wanted this person to be. And this person can't be separated from their truth anymore. That's what I see. It's like something has stolen their heart. And when something has stolen your heart like this, and you feel the sting of separation from it, in other words, you feel like you can't really live from your heart because there's all these outside expectations of others that are grasping at you and keeping you in this real, like, kind of fixed position in your life. It becomes unbearable. There's something coming in that is stealing this individual's heart, or it's going to steal your heart, collective, and you will not be able to ignore the call of this. You will not. There is no way that you're going to stay stuck in this position of being like a cat licking its butt for all of eternity. You can't. You cannot continue to nurse this secret side of yourself that's the very best parts of you that are really needing to be expressed at this time. And to me, this looks like a pair. I mean, both of you hold this power. So when you bring your power together, I mean, maybe this is what this is about. I mean, we got, you know, King Shit there is also sitting on a toilet, just like the toilet angel here, right? I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe you both need to adopt this attitude with the others. And that's the way through. Like, you know, F you. If you don't like who I am, if you don't get where I'm coming from, if you think I'm weird, if you don't understand it, I'm cool with it. And that's all that matters, is I'm being true to myself and true to my vision. That's all that matters. No, I don't need to hang on to the old BS. I can transcend that. I'm tired of, like, feeling like I'm at a loss because I have to play a role that's making me feel dead inside. That's what I see. That's what I see. Interesting. Any final remarks, Spirit, in relation to this? Any final remarks in relation to this? The crossing energy. Yeah, seven of spades here. This is the crossing energy for the path that wants to open up right now. I mean, it's a star mate, okay? You two are meant to bring your forces together. There's something mutually supportive here. And it's a little bit of divine play, all right? So this is kind of like Fool energy. I do feel like there's something coming in here. There's a path of exploration coming in here that is really going to start to shift things around. And let's see. You know, I want to get out anything else here. I kind of want to get out some tarot to see if I can get any kind of like identifying factors about what signs may be involved in this situation. Just to give a little clarification. What do we got on the bottom of the deck here? Yeah, see, this is the current position. I mean, somebody is like really, they hear the call, like they know what they need to do. They know they need to let down their guard, and yet there's weariness around it, you know, not really knowing what one's going to encounter by letting down that guard. That's what I see. But somebody's getting the memo that they're supposed to let down the drawbridge here. They're just hoping it doesn't invite like a, you know, a Trojan horse in. They may feel that if I let down my guard, this person is going to use their power against me. They're going to take advantage of it because of all the ways I took advantage of them in the past. You see what I mean? There's a little bit of this kind of action. It's this mirroring energy. It's really interesting. Let's see what we got here. I just want to see just from some tarot here, straight up Rider Waite inspired tarot. This is the glow in the dark tarot, so hopefully it can give us a little illumination here. I want to see if we can get some details about what characters may be involved. We do have strong fire sign energy here. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And I would look at where you have fire in your chart. That might highlight to you where these repressed aspects of yourself are really wanting to bubble up to the surface and gain expression. It might highlight something for you. That's kind of how it's coming through. All right. Bottom of the deck. Four of Pentacles. Yeah, right now it's sort of like, I know that I want to enter that Stargate. And I know that I want to take the opportunity to move out of my comfort zone here, but I also don't want to lose my crown. I don't want to lose my crown. We're very clear that both of these people are like, I'm not going to lose full agency of my own independent thought, my own vision, how I see things. So that this is what I don't think is understood, is that nobody needs to sacrifice their vision. It's like, it's really weird because somebody here wants to get out of this position of having to conform. And yet, in order for them to move into that free expression, they're expecting the other to embrace conformity, when what they like about this individual is that they're a non-conformist. That their expression cannot be contained. So it's an interesting dynamic here. And I think that's what needs to be adjusted in this situation. Right? And that's the thing, is there has to be allowing. You have to let people be who they are. And that may mean that some of their vision doesn't completely sync up with yours, but you still have to respect that they have that freedom of expression to live their life on their terms. And then you have to look at it as, well, where do our intentions, where does our vision like intersect? Where does it come together? And that may change the dynamic of this connection. It might be a work in progress, but it looks like it's a good opportunity, especially with that gravy funnel. I mean, something does come through that is like the gravy train, and it does bring about some balance. Again, Queen of Wands. You're both alchemists, for sure. For sure. You're both alchemists. I feel that very strongly. You both have spiritual gifts. You both hold fire. You both have like strong fire in your chart. And then we have a King of Pentacles and we have a Ten of Pentacles. Wow. Well, I mean, this is pretty clear. I think that somebody is going to make the investment. They're going to move out of that safe space and they're going to make the investment. And that investment is really going to pay off to the tune of the Ten of Pentacles. So I do feel like there is a way to root this. And it's you two bringing your forces together, build this like legacy kind of energy. There's actually something really important the two of you are meant to do together here. It's legacy energy. Got Earth sign energy coming out there. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, any more details about this, Spirit? Any more details? Interesting. We have the sun here. Okay, bottom of the deck energy. Good, strong card. Leo season. It's really interesting the way this comes out. Real strong fire. We've got a King of Wands here, right? So definite fire sign energy involved in this situation. There could be a Leo involved in this situation. That's coming out pretty strongly. But any of the fire signs, really, earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. See, if you check this out, the way it comes out with the sun here on the bottom of the deck, it's like what truly makes this individual happy, this King of Wands happy, what makes him feel alive again, this part of him that has been with him since he was a child, actually. It is the thing that gives him strength. It is the thing that gives him power. It is the thing that gives him movement in his life, growth in his life, forward projection in his life. It is the thing that lights him up. He's had it concealed. He's had it cloaked for a very long time. And he's had to kind of like sneak away, you know, away from prying eyes and tuck this part of himself where it couldn't be seen. It's like repressing an essential part of oneself. So it couldn't be stolen, like it's treasure. This was buried deep within this individual and he's been guarding it ever since. But I see he's ready to leave that behind, like ready to leave behind the need to suppress this part of himself, ready to let it be seen. And there's just this final need, right? To have this transformation point to understand that one's not bound to this position. And I do see them transforming it because we have the Magician right here, raising the wand, taking the action. This effing guy is going to alchemize this. They are going to transform this. And it is going to bring a renewal in some connection here. This is somebody that you've dealt with before. The Magician is Gemini energy, okay? Real strong energy here. Also, I do feel like there's something about, give me more details on this before I say something about that. Give me more details about this Magician. Two of Pentacles, I mean, is a crossing energy. There may be something that needs to be unraveled from an alchemy perspective, something that was set in motion that's been creating this imbalance and this connection. And with that, we got the Queen of Pentacles coming out right behind that. This could be in relation to, this looks like maybe somebody that could have been a marital partner, somebody they were in a serious commitment with, or this could be like a serious business partnership, or this could be the mother and the father in the home. Tell me about this. Like something needs to be balanced out first before there can be this transformation too. I feel like it's something very practical. That's what's preventing you coming together with this individual. You're meant to share some path of growth with each other. But it does look like something does need to be dealt with first, cleared away first. It could be a particular connection, or there needs to be some kind of adjustment within a connection. outside of the connection you share with this individual. And it feels like it's something that's really rooted. Okay, there's like this cutting energy here. Okay, that's weird that I said it like that. This cutting energy here. So there could be that something does need to be like cut off here. You got King of Cups energy, water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Strong Scorpio coming in with the World. So there could be something that does need to be brought to a close in order for there to be a way forward for these two. All right. There is successful completion in this. We got the Judgment here after that, and the road opens. And with that is the activation of the Starmate energy, okay? So I do feel like this is coming into view. And this totals 28. So that's 10. That's that like the Wheel of Fortune energy. But first, a certain burden needs to be laid down before there can be this freedom. The Hierophant there. You see 2 keys there. Freeze 2. It's not a floppy key. This opens up the door for both. It opens up the way through. But it could be that like somebody is connected to something. And this could be coming through in a multitude of ways, okay? It could be a certain belief system they hold that they're still needing to like kind of have more of an open-minded perspective. Maybe you have very different spiritual beliefs from each other, or it could be like a family dynamic coming in pretty strongly. It could be a marriage, okay? I do feel like there is something that is being cleansed here though. So this can come into alignment. And then on the other side here, we have the Queen of Wands again, right? Maybe the Queen of Wands who's in this position needs to clear something away, right? It's possible in order for this road to open, but it does look like something's brewing here. Okay, Taurus energy coming in here as well. And then we have the fixed sign energy, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius as well. Water sign energy. I mean, pretty much we got just about everybody on the board here. Even Gemini made an appearance. Right. 5 of Pentacles on the opposite side of the deck there, though. I don't know why it's giving me these vibes. It's like the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands are sort of like these two here. Like maybe they've always sort of felt like misfits, you know, never really fit in. People never really got them. Always felt like they were just a little bit different from everybody. But it's like their connection brings them out of the cold. That's how it's coming through. There's some truth that's recognized here. And I think this is just, you know, sort of resting with this truth and allowing the cycle of time to play out here, because I don't feel like this is ready to come into alignment yet. It's currently blocked. Yeah, there's holdups, there's delays here. I see it, you know. Somebody's really trying to get themselves right here emotionally. May even have something to do with a child, all right? They could have a child that they share with someone here. There, like I said, there could be like some family dynamic involved here, marriage involved here. This is what's creating holdups. We also got the Hangman coming in here. So there is this need for like illumination, a different kind of perspective before this way through opens. We got Piscean energy there. And it's just something that's being considered right now, but the investment hasn't been made. This is a slow moving energy. But it is wanting to be introduced here because there is something that's already kind of like seeding on the quantum field in relation to this. And with this, we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, so Libra energy, Gemini, Aquarius, also, you know, Virgo can come in with that swords energy. They got that sharp discernment here. And this is where it's at. The choice of the Lovers. Right? To make do, to make do with one's lot that's been assigned by others, or to awaken self-actualization in the pursuit of self-knowledge and really stepping into one's purpose. This is what's on the table here. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. We also have to remember that we had that sort of Jupiter in Gemini energy move into Cancer, where it brings a lot of blessing energy, but we also had Uranus go into Gemini out of Taurus. And it's much more at home there, but it does still create its challenges. You know, if you intellectualize the Uranian energy too much, it can become very convoluted and confusing and just chaotic and messy. So the key to sort of like cutting through that quality and being decisive, where you can step out of the crossroads, oh, I like this, and step into true empowerment here. Aries energy coming in there with the Emperor. One has to be able to release strategizing and instead come into the fulfillment of the wish. The way you come into the fulfillment of the wish is you got to root the manifestation within the body. So this is really about aligning more with how you're feeling, getting into more of your sensual kind of experience, really activating that animal body, more of that feral nature, flowing with things more spontaneously according to how you're responding to it energetically. That's how you work with the Uranian energy to maximum benefit, you know, and I feel like that's sort of the way through. But this is still in process here. I feel like somebody is in process with this, sort of getting out of their head and trusting their feelings more, getting used to trusting their feelings more. Because I do feel like there's somebody in this scenario that they were discouraged from that, you know? They were discouraged. Either they were told that they were too sensitive, or told that they feel things too deeply, or, you know, told to walk it off, you know, when they were really hurting about something. And there's something there that needs to be bridged, because it's like you can be really sharp. You can have a really sharp acumen. You can strategize and all of that. But eventually, if you can't move it into the heart space, there's an incompleteness there, and there's a fulfillment that's absent. And there is a need to reclaim emotional intelligence here. I feel like that's what's been lacking. And a lot of that does come through trusting your intuition and trusting where you feel led, okay? So this is in process, but this isn't anything that's going to happen overnight. And it's wanting to be introduced now, though. So I do feel like there's hints of this. You're going to start seeing hints of this. You might be picking this up a little bit, okay? There might be like some kind of communication coming in, something that gets the ball rolling with this. I do look for signs in relation to this. We got pretty much everybody out here, all the signs on the board. And just remember, you can embody any of the signs at any given time. So you'll know if this was speaking to you. All right. Well, very interesting energy in play. All I have to say is you can never go wrong being true to you. And there will always be people who judge you. And the more that you do stand in the truth of who you are, the more you will experience backlash. But you know what? You also feel a hell of a lot more free.